The lights dimmed just enough to let the tension breathe, and in that charged arena, it felt less like a basketball game and more like a prize fight. Rival fans leaned forward as the quarterfinals tipped off, knowing this wasn't 5-on-5, not a system, not a set play drawn on a clipboard. This was isolation in its purest form. One ball, one defender, one scorer. And on this night, it was Kelsey versus Kelsey. From the University of Washington, representing the Phantom, Kelsey Plum stepped onto the floor with the confidence of someone who believed she had something to prove. From Ohio State, representing the Hive, Kelsey Mitchell answered with a stare that said she didn't care about seedings or narratives. The format was simple and ruthless. Make it, take it, first to 11. Win, and you move one step closer to a $200,000 prize. Lose, and the run ends right there, under the glare of the lights. There were no teammates to bail them out, no help side defenders waiting in the paint. Every possession would be personal, every bucket earned in space that had to be created by force or finesse. And both players had already shown earlier in the tournament that they were more than just scorers. Plum's defense had turned heads in her previous matchup, her counters sharp and disciplined. Mitchell's offensive bag ran deep, but she too had flashed the kind of grit that defines elite competitors. When the ball checked at the top, it wasn't just about rhythm, it was about nerve. Mitchell opened aggressively, probing, stepping back into a jumper that rimmed out. Plum answered with fluid motion, twirling into her shot and knocking it down as if the moment weighed nothing at all. She made it look easy, but nothing about this format is easy. One defensive lapse can tilt everything. Plum struck first from the line, calm and methodical, building a small cushion. In a game to 11, every free throw feels magnified. Mitchell responded by attacking downhill, forcing contact, refusing to let Plum dictate the pace. They bumped shoulders, they fought for angles. Each knew the other's tendencies. Each tried to force the other toward their weaker hand. But both are left-handed assassins, comfortable finishing through traffic and rising up from impossible angles. Mitchell found her groove with a step-back three that snapped through the net and flipped the energy in the building. Suddenly, she had the lead, and the crowd roared at the sight of two of the WNBA's most electric scorers trading blows like seasoned fighters in the center of the ring. Plum didn't flinch. She absorbed the contact, muscled her way into the paint, and finished through a foul, the ball kissing the glass before dropping through. The physicality escalated. There was nothing accidental about the bodying up, the forearms pressing into hips, the subtle nudges on drives. In this one-on-one battlefield, space is survival. Mitchell tried to create it with a sidestep jumper, tying the game again. Plum countered with patience, backing her defender down before spinning into a tough shot that bounced halfway down and out. Neither could fully separate. Fatigue hovered over every possession. Both had already battled earlier in the night. Legs that usually elevate effortlessly now carried the strain of constant defensive slides and hard plants. Three-point attempts came up short. Drives grew more deliberate. They paced themselves, taking a beat before checking the ball, stealing seconds to recover oxygen. Defense became the story. Plum locked in, sliding laterally, cutting off Mitchell's angles, forcing a shot clock violation that felt like a turnover in slow motion. Mitchell answered with tight coverage of her own, contesting a deep attempt and grabbing back control. The score inched upward, possession by possession, neither player giving more than necessary. At 7 apiece, the tension was suffocating. Every dribble echoed louder, every pivot felt decisive. Mitchell danced with the ball, hesitated, rose for a contested jumper that tied it yet again. Plum answered with an up fake in a strong drive, drawing a shooting foul. From the line, she edged closer to the winning mark, the arena holding her breath. It was a battle of calculations as much as skill. When to attack, when to conserve, when to gamble for a steal. Both understood the format's cruelty. In Make It Take It, momentum can avalanche. A single defensive stop can open the door to 3 or 4 straight points, but neither allowed the other to build that kind of run. Mitchell tried to carve out space late, twisting through contact, flipping a left-handed attempt that refused to drop. Plum gathered the rebound and slowed the pace, eyes scanning for the slightest crack. She rose for a long 2, a shot that felt almost casual given the stakes. For a split second, it seemed like she might hesitate. Then the ball left her fingertips, pure and confident. It dropped clean. Game over. In a contest that had been punch for punch, bucket for bucket, Kelsey Plum had found just enough daylight to close the book. She advanced to the semifinals, $25,000 secured, the larger prize still within reach. Mitchell walked off having given everything, her explosive scoring matched by a defensive edge that forced Plum to earn every inch. Afterward, Plum spoke about strategy and survival, about sitting down defensively and contesting everything, about the exhaustion of the one-on-one grind. There is nowhere to hide in that format. Every weakness is exposed, every strength magnified. It is basketball stripped to its core. What lingered most wasn't just the final shot, but the respect embedded in the battle. 2 elite guards, accustomed to sharing the floor with all-stars, forced into isolation where reputation means nothing without execution. Plum's work ethic, often praised by her coaches and teammates, showed in her defensive intensity as much as in her shot-making. Mitchell's offensive bag ran deep, but she too had flashed the kind of grit that defines elite competitors. In the end, only one could move on, but both elevated the moment, reminding everyone why the women's game continues to rise in visibility and intensity. The quarterfinal didn't just deliver highlights, it delivered a duel worthy of the stakes. Now the road narrows. The semifinals